Hey there, aspiring horror authors. It's another episode of Sako and the Moon, created by two self-published horror authors. Meet Renmeleon, artist, author, editor, and creative force who's been weaving stories and worlds since 1986. From Faerie Lore to publishing magic, she blends myth and imagination into every project. In this episode, she takes us into the other world, where creativity and enchantment walk hand in hand. Scroll, scroll, scroll.
We're scrolling. Why are we scrolling? We're doing it. Oh, theme song. Theme song.
Oh, it's looping.
We're not going to keep remix.
Yeah. Son of a gun.
It's pretty.
It defaults on repeating. So
are we actually even getting the sound on?
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. So
yes,
I don't sound completely ridiculous going theme song.
No, you do.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. It sounds worse if there's not actual music there for me to be mocking.
We can create a theme song.
I am not saying lyrics. It's literally going to be just that song with me going theme song. It's the theme song. This theme song is our theme song. That's it.
That's perfect.
We're not doing that.
Give it to me later. I'll put it on Launchpad.
We'll put it on Spotify and have like re-listens. I don't even know what they call them.
Or something.
All the Imaginarium crowd.
Oh yeah, we'll get that. They're like, hey, they'll see me in the hallway. Hey, theme song. I'm like, don't do that. That's not what we're doing here. Let's not do that. And they'll keep doing it because
keep doing it because it's a shtick. Yeah.
And I'll instigate it.
It's like
every time.
It's like the chair thing.
It's like the chair thing.
You sit in one room, you have someone who always holds themselves very, very kind of posh and proper, and you convince one fantasy author to throw a chair during a reading, and it becomes like a thing for years. 4 years now.
It survived the pandemic.
Well, it happened in 23. So I started through the chair, and then 24. It was still a thing. And then last year she was doing another reading. I was sitting in the reading and I left because I was going back and forth between the reading and a concert. And so I was going to the concert and I come back to the reading and they're like, you missed it, Moon. So-and-so threw a chair, and then so-and-so threw a chair, and then so-and-so threw a chair. And I'm just like, oh, this chair thing is not dying.
Yeah, all because of Tommy.
This chair thing is not dying anytime soon.
No. And then the little chairs that you had to find throughout.
I saw that this year, and I didn't find out about it until it was too late.
Oh, I found it. Yeah.
You found yours in 24, and it's a whole thing that Barbara is running with it. Like Barbara talks about marketing in some of her, and she did a workshop where she was talking about marketing and how to promote yourself. And I'm sitting here just because the schedule had gotten mixed up. And so people didn't know what rooms and whatever they were updating the schedule live, right? As we're doing things. They're like, go check online. Don't necessarily check the book. Rooms are changing, times are changing. So Barbara comes outside of her room and is like, hey, this workshop is happening in this room right now. I had nothing else to do. I'm going ahead and sit in my friend's workshop. And then next thing you know, I find my name on a slide. I'm in the slide. We're talking about the chair thing as far as like marketing and promotion. I'm just like that.
Okay. Okay. So if you're new to the channel, I am Sako Toomey, artist and author and a bunch of other things. But we'll just mention that I'm self-published 4 times. Oh, typing.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of it.
You're clacking.
Okay.
Clacking.
I've been working on my craft for decades, and now I'd like to share my skills with you guys.
If you guys missed it, because I totally did, I'm Dwan L. Hearn, more affectionately known as the Moon. Apparently, I convince people to throw chairs. I write stuff, I film stuff, and I talk to people.
And of course, we have today the fantabulous Renmeleon back to tell us about Faerie Lore. If you'd like to see
the show
episodes from past seasons, I'll stick them in the cards. Can you introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about your background and your connection to Faerie Lore?
Sure. I am Anna Maria Salvaggio, otherwise known as Renmeleon, which is short for the Renaissance Chameleon. I'm a nerd of all trades. I originally got into Fae lore through children's books. I had a friend of my mother's who used to feed Faerie lore books and multicultural stuff to me on a regular basis. So I became fascinated when I was fairly young. I've been doing mostly children's books lately, and that's kind of a natural progression with dealing with fairy lore and folklore, and being able to come up with your own stories and coming up with your own creatures, and basing things on world lore and then kind of shoving it over the cliff a little bit into your own thing. But yeah, I've always had a fascination, and like I said, children's books were my gateway to that.
Now, I am not a big like I'm one of those people who just, my only exposure to fairies is Tinkerbell. That's not true. I watched the show Once Upon a Time, and they had a couple different
fairies.
So
Sure.
So they're like mystical witches. Like, so my impression of fairies is just like small witches. So is that a fair assessment of fairies, or am I?
That is a specific breed of fae.
Yeah.
Okay, so help me out. Help your ignorant moon not be so unaware. What exactly, like on lore, what is a fairy? And we're mentioning fae. What is the difference? Is that just an abbreviation for fairies? Like what?
It's kind of like the race is fae, and then fairy is a noun.
Yeah.
Or a place. Fairy is also a place. If you see it with IE, then it is a place. Instead of
too, that it's FAIRY, but those that are usually involved with some kind of fantasy realm writing, or who are witchy, it's FAERI.
And I've seen all of those spellings.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like, okay, so it's different. So there has to be a difference. But I'm not, because fairy lore is not my chosen genre of reading. So I'm just unaware. And you can imagine in the 80s, they weren't exactly handing books about fairies to young Black kids.
Indeed.
Yeah, there's a lot of fae are chaos. So there's a lot of rules within fae realm that are trope, canon, whatever you want to call it. I don't write specifically fae.
Right.
It is part of my wheelhouse, I guess, because all the things other than my little title here that says not a fae, usually it says maker of all the things. So
maker of all the things, yeah.
But so I do a lot of different things in a lot of different industries, and just fae are fun. I have friends though that are more serious about it and actually work with fae and their spiritual belief.
I am very anti like getting involved.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm like, nope.
If they want to dance, sure, I'll dance with them, but don't accept any presents
I avoid.
Don't make any promises.
Now, I love a good present. I love a good gift. I had a fantastic friend taking me out to dinner for my birthday, which is next week.
They always want something in return.
Shout out Sarah for dinner. Thank you. So like, okay, so help me out with this lore. Like, no gifts. Why Ren, why am I not taking a gift from a fae?
It's never free. There's always a cost. There's always a price. And
it's usually slavery.
Oh,
it ranks right up there with.
Been there, done that. We didn't even get t-shirts for that.
Yeah.
We picked the cotton, still couldn't get the t-shirt. Okay. So sorry, that was.
I'm not designing one of those.
No, I'm not either. But no, seriously though, like, okay, so you fall into servitude to the fae, like just that specific one, or like what kind of gifts are we talking?
It depends on the folklore. The folklore is a little.
Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin is a perfect example of like a certain kind of fae.
Great in Once Upon a Time. Robert Carlyle. I love Robert Carlyle because of his role in Once Upon a Time as Mr. Gold / Rumpelstiltskin. So let me ask this. Are we familiar with the show Once Upon a Time?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Ren, you are? So I'll direct this question to you. If Rumpelstiltskin, which is the character that I'm referring to in Once Upon a Time, fantastic written show. It was a wonderful show. How close is Rumpelstiltskin in his role as the Dark One? Because I think his mother was the Dark Fairy. Now I'm thinking
he took liberties big time.
Okay, so how close are
I haven't read the original story in forever, and I don't know that I've ever read the original. Is that a Grimm?
I feel like yes. I feel like it is.
Okay, because none of the Grimm tales that we know are accurate to what they actually were. Like they were very dark.
So I've heard the Grimms are grimmer than
they're not all of them are. Not all of them are.
We'll have to find an episode
darker than what we're used to.
We'll have to find some like
Disney-fied.
We'll have to find a Grimm expert and bring somebody in who's really familiar with Grimm lore. Bring them on the show. We'll figure that out. Those two things fit together. That's great. So Rumpelstiltskin is probably a name that most people are familiar with. The spinner of gold kept his name quiet. No one really knew his name. He had to guess his name. Is that also part of fairy lore, like secret identity and like power over them if you know their name? Is that like a thing, or
names are power?
Names are power. It's. I'm trying to think. Do they associate like because we do a lot of Appalachian folklore stuff here because we're in Kentucky, and so we hear that a lot. I'm asking Sako in particular, would you know if the folklore would that be related to fae with all the cryptid stuff and the
I would think so. It's a little different.
The rules of don't whistle in the woods, don't acknowledge stuff in the windows, don't there's that whole thing. I think that thinks
I ain't heard.
Leave milk in the backyard, throw apples into the woods. That's a fae thing.
I'm just not gonna play in the woods. Y'all can have all that. I'll just stick in the city because y'all. Listen, if you guys haven't gone back and saw our episode on cryptids and seen my shock on cryptids, go. Matter of fact, don't pause this because we're live. But after this, go find the episode on cryptids that we did.
I was on that one too.
And go run that back. And
Appalachian cryptids specifically.
Yeah, because the cryptids are just those weird creatures that go bump in the night that you always hear about. That's basically a cryptid. And the ones in these mountains, stay out of West Virginia. West Virginia, are you okay? I never heard back from you. We never heard back from West Virginia. We don't know if you're safe. All the cryptids were from West Virginia. It was wild.
There's a lot.
I digress. And the reason I'm asking all these questions, because I know Sako's got like a bunch of like actual professionally structured questions. But again, this is a space that I'm completely blind to. The only fairies I know are the ones that were on Once Upon a Time and then like Tinkerbell. And I don't even remember. I think there was even like a second Tiger Lily. I don't even remember Tiger Lily being a thing. So like
Tiger Lily wasn't a fae. The mermaids were technically fae.
See, all this stuff is brand new to me. None of this stuff makes sense to me. So I have a lot of questions out of just a space of folklore curiosity. So these are stories that I hear referred to, and I have a lot of friends that write fantasy, and I'm just in the dark. So I'm looking to you guys to just enlighten me through the course of this episode. So, are there any better questions that you got than my spontaneous one, Sako?
It's mostly like figuring out what Bren's connection to fairy is. So,
I brought show and tell. I brought show and tell.
Well,
excellent.
Damn.
Excellent.
So
Sako,
my so my like I said, children's books were a thing. I have one original first edition that is packed away that I could not access, unfortunately. That was the original thing that got me into it. And it was just, there was no images. It was almost like a reference manual, like a textbook to Fae, that was gifted to me. I was probably like 6 or 7. But since then, one of the first ones, probably the second one I got, that I have actually collected all of the books except for one. The illustrators from the Netherlands, and this is one of my favorites, which I gifted an extra copy. Sorry about the ring light. Gifted an extra copy to Sako.
Yeah, it's right behind me. Yeah.
I like to get people hooked on things that I love.
So are gnomes also fae?
Yes.
So it's like fae, like a category of mystical forest creature?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's different species.
Because as far as I'm concerned, homie's name is David. Like I remember that little dude on the front of there, that's David. As far as I'm concerned.
It's based, the David series was based on these illustrations.
If any of you are too young to know who David the Gnome is, I mean, just keep watching because the show's cool. But like, you got to go back. The theme song still hits. Like, yeah.
So
I still know the words to that theme song to this day. I am 42. Well, I will be next week. I am old as far as I'm concerned. And
hey, wait a minute.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I said as far as I'm concerned. And because I didn't want to say, you're like, you've been doing all this since like 86.
I've been doing this stuff for 40 years.
I was 3. Let's just but like David the Gnome was a dope show, and he had like some cool powers, and he was just like super dope. So I guess because gnomes are gnomes, fays are fae, like fairies are fairies. I don't know that they're related. I didn't know they were cousins.
There's the Seelie Court and the Unseelie Court. The Unseelie Court is boggarts and all the ones that
red caps and the ones you don't mess with. Yeah.
The Seelie Court are
depending on the dragon. Like chimerical creatures tend to be fae made. And the downside between Salie and Unsalie is when you meet them, you can't necessarily tell what court they're in. So intentions are always hidden.
And so like I can accept a gift from one but not a gift from the other.
basically. And until
I wouldn't
you
accept
get
a gift from any of them.
yeah, me either.
Okay.
Life is too complicated.
So if a gnome hands me a box, run. Got you. So now we're in what I need is it's a logo with like a gnome in a circle holding a box and a line through it. That's what I need. And we'll have those stickers available on Imaginarium.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. I got some questions.
Go for it.
What first drew you into the world of fairy lore? Was there a particular story or myth or experience that ignited your fascination with the Fae?
Probably the gnome book, but there was also another 2 books that were gifted to me. Actually, one was gifted, and then I found another one, first edition, brownies. So Kodak did a brownie camera, and I'm not sure which came first, whether the brownies were promo for the camera or, I mean, brownies are Faerie Lore, so they've been around longer, but as far as the books, I believe the brownies were used as promo and then came out, or they did a collaboration with an illustrator that did the books for the camera. There's a movie called Fairy Tale. Peter O'Toole is in it. So is Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel plays Houdini, and Peter O'Toole is Arthur Conan Doyle. Back in England, there were 2 girls that had supposedly photographed fairies, and it turned out to be a hoax, but there was a bunch of, it's like one of the earliest camera manipulation things, and Kodak came in and had experts and did a camera for them, gifted them a camera that supposedly couldn't be messed with, or they would be able to tell whether or not it had been faked. But it didn't come out that it was faked for years. And so I think that brownie series, the brownie camera is the one they were given. And the brownie book series came out around the same time, as far as I know. And they're just little black and white line art, little fairies. I tried to lay my hands on the 2 books, and they're packed up, I think, because we're moving things around. So that was definitely something. I actually was able to find a brownie camera not too long ago. So I actually have on my one bookshelf, I have the brownie camera. And I was big into photography back then. This is, of course, pre-digital, but the books that I was given primarily, I have seen some weird stuff throughout my life that was definitely Fae related, but it's one of those, I'm pretty much the debunker. And there are some things that I cannot explain. So, but pretty much the children's books, the gnomes and the gnomes and the brownies.
All right, I got this. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but I was trying to look it up. And this is brownies at home.
Yep.
And then
you see here,
this is an ad for the
camera.
So this is for context, because I didn't have context what we're talking about, so I was looking up, and I want to share that for everybody else.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. I could actually show you the camera, but that's the same one. So those little creatures that are in the vintage ads,
yeah, that's
the same ones that I have in the book.
There you go. Here we go, right here. There's a brownie camera for everyone. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it's I'm not sure what year.
Do you often capture Fae with your brownie camera?
No, the brownie camera unfortunately is defunct. So I haven't found a working one yet. Actually, I take that back. There was one in a vintage store, but it was so pricey that I was just like, I couldn't do it. But I've always wanted one of the top-down cameras, which is a similar style that they have.
Right. Fairy traditions are rich and varied across cultures. Are there particular myths from, say, Celtic, Nordic, or Slavic folklore that resonate most with you or feature prominently in your practice?
I grew up doing multicultural, multi-religious research, and I'm big on symbolism. So I've always studied different cultures, and I do a lot of surface pattern design, and I'm usually drawn to Celtic because that's my genealogy's Irish, Scottish, but also Slavic has been a big thing. I know you know about all the Baba Yaga folklore stuff, which I am now Baba Yaga in 3 games.
For everybody else, that is not John Wick. It is not John Wick.
It is
not. Not referring to John
Baba
Wick.
Yaga. If
right.
You're Russian, it's Baba Yaga. I had a friend correct me, but I've always known her as Baba Yaga. Definitely
they say Baba Yaga in
Faerie Lore.
In John Wick. They refer to him as Baba Yaga.
I got all excited when I heard it. I love
Baba
the
Yaga actually makes more sense for whatever reason. It feels like, yeah, man, that checks.
It's more Slavic. Yeah.
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 So now you learn something, people.
But I've always been it's weird because I went to private schools in a very heavily Slavic influenced area of Florida in Oviedo. It was the elementary and the middle school that I went to had quite a few teachers that were Slavic background. I want to go back and actually kind of research the whole history of why in that area, but patterns and cooking and different things kind of influenced me when I was younger with that. I'd always taken an interest in it, and we actually have quite a few Slavic families here where we're at in Kentucky too. We had one that used to come to the farmers market and made traditional breads that had like potatoes and a bunch of other stuff in the bread. And I used to love just, hanging out with her and talking to her. And she always had, Slavic pattern clothes, but it all kind of fed into, the folklore interests that I had. But PAX Day is a game that I've been in since alpha, and we just went live with it. Founders got in on the 14th. Everybody else got in yesterday. And everybody calls me Baba in game because I have actually made the chicken hut house. The devs knew about it back in alpha. And Dirty 20 Gaming that my daughter and I play in on Thursday nights, we're playing City of Mist, and my mythos is Baba Yaga. So my character slowly kind of became a vessel for her. We joke around that I only eat small children on alternate Tuesdays, so it's not that kind of Baba Yaga. I'm more the John Wick Baba Yaga. But so for some reason Baba Yaga has just, and I'm in my crone phase of life, so that kind of fits. But I've always had an interest with folklore. There's such a rich history, and there's so many different countries that have complete different twists on Fae. And it's interesting to see, how everybody interprets it.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in because that's the thing. Like I was telling all our friends that do vampire stuff. There's a lot of vampire lore that I'm familiar with because it's kind of mainstream. But there's like the little detail stuff that I'm not. So I love to look at the different interpretations of, for example, vampires and their interactions with sunlight, or do crosses bother them as much as holy water, or does any of that phase them
or
at all?
garlic or
The garlic thing, the mirror thing,
do-
the invitation thing, like that's not always consistent. The invitation thing is not always consistent. So
We need to do a vampire episode.
we've done a couple.
Seriously need to do.
There's been so many.
We've
We've
done
had
that.
J.M. Chaley on the show talking about vampires.
And Vamp Chat.
Vamp Chat's been on here. Vamp Chat's coming back. Yeah, they are. Vamp Chat's coming back because Dan and I, we got a conversation to have about that movie. So I gotta go rewatch it. Yeah, don't forget, hang out for if you haven't done it already, like and subscribe to this channel because you're gonna want to be there with me and Dan.
Yeah.
Go ahead to head about Therapy for a Vampire. He wants to defend the review, and apparently his wife does too. So it's gonna be like a whole thing. They're coming back next season, so you're gonna want to ring that notification bell so you're aware of that episode when it comes out, and of course every other episode before and after that. So take your time to do that now. No, Indeed. Still do it. I see you. You haven't pushed the button yet. You haven't clicked it. I'm seeing you. You haven't clicked it. Click this button now. You can do it now.
Okay.
They still didn't. I won't interrupt some more.
We talked a little bit about Once Upon a Time, the TV show.
Great
but
show.
How do you feel fairies have transformed in modern storytelling compared to their depiction in older folklore? What aspects of ancient mythology still captivate you today?
I love the original books that I have, and whether it's textbook or something like the Gnome book. I see more Fae stuff in horror genre than probably anywhere other than Once Upon a Time. Books I can speak to a lot more than probably the movies, because the movies I don't necessarily watch. Like Leprechaun. There's some that I've seen. But as far as books and bringing it forward, I got show and tell for 2 of them. This series is absolutely fabulous.
Fablehaven.
Put it down. It's Fablehaven by Brandon Mull, and he takes the traditional lore and puts his own twist on it, kind of like Once Upon a Time does. And there were 5 books. I read 4, found out the other one wasn't out for 6 months, and I went insane having to wait for it. It was that good. I reread it a couple of times, got my daughter hooked on it. But there's a lot of classic folklore with just a little bit of tweaking for his own purpose in here.
Naturally.
One. And Spiderwick. I would be remiss in not mentioning Spiderwick. So Tony DiDerlizzi actually does art for Magic the Gathering cards, and he's done a lot of stuff for RPG stuff. He has books that look like museum guides. So the Spiderwick Chronicles is, they move into this house, eccentric aunt, I want to say, is in a home now, and her house went to the family, and they find this hidden attic access kind of thing through, I think he finds it through the dumbwaiter, and it's this, looks like mad scientist lab, but it's got like fae in jars and things are studied, and there's actually I want to say I can't remember if he's a boggart or not, but he's living in the attic, and they end up making friends with him, and he shows the kids how to see, fae through fairy stones and the whole thing. But he goes into the series actually has the illustrations are awesome, but he has guidebooks and did the actual chronicles. So it's this big, this big tome of kind of like if you think of the big book that Hermione had in the library that she plopped down on the table and opened it up, and it's this big scrapbook kind of, spell book looking thing, is, kind of join that with like Audubon. You have like all this Fae lore and this study, and things are pinned down, and there's a lot of books that go with the book series, and it's Tony Dieter Lizzie and Holly Black do it, but they did come out with a Spiderwick Chronicles movie, which I
Yes,
love.
they did.
I think they did a really good job of it. But those two depict the good and the bad side.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they handled it. Like I said, as far as movies, I can't think of a movie off the top of my head where
I got you.
they haven't been the bad guy.
Oh, I don't know. But I was curious because you had mentioned Faye appearing in horror, and of course, surprise, surprise is kind of my thing.
Yep.
I found a few for those at home or wherever you are, because it's the middle of the day on a Friday. You can be at work. Don't tell your boss. As a matter of fact, tell your boss, have them watch the show too. There's Unwelcome. There's The Hole in the Ground, Pan's Labyrinth, The Hollow, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, Tale of Tales, and Hellboy 2 I didn't expect to see on this list.
Yes.
So,
Hellboy 2 is a perfect example
which
of...
we're going over on Tuesday because I love that movie.
And that was why I went ahead and talk about the list, because the movie we're going to review on Tuesday, provided I can find it, is Hellboy 2. Of course, me being me, I'm probably going to find Hellboy and Hellboy 2 so I can watch them both, because why watch a sequel if you haven't seen the first?
Yep.
Sure.
So
you haven't seen the first? What?
So I know. So the review is going to be on Hellboy 2. But I personally will probably seek out Hellboy 1.
They're both good.
Context. But apparently, as far as like Fae horror, if you just search Fae horror on your favorite search engine, as Sako's good friend Doc would say, then you'll find a list of movies to check out to, I guess, better explore Fae lore. Ta-da.
Indeed. When you weave fairy lore into creative projects, how do you strike a balance between staying true to the traditional elements and bringing in fresh imaginative twists?
You made it through, Sako. Good job.
Oh my gosh, that was a hard one.
English is hard.
English is hard.
And ladies and gentlemen, the English language. Yeah.
Yep. I have been writing multi-genre stuff on my Wednesday stream. So I've actually got a couple of Fae stories that have kind of woven themselves into things unintentionally. But I have a water nymph in one, which also ended up becoming a queer story. So go figure. Any kind of writing I do that is based on folklore or has a folklore influence, what I normally do is I will base the majority of my writing in reality. In this, that would be, the traditional folklore. And then I push it just slightly over the cliff so that people can relate to it to a point. And then by the time I've got them teetering on the edge, they've bought into it. It seems plausible because, everything else was. So, like, I'll have my husband and I both will do, if we're writing about a certain area, we will actually look up bus schedules, train schedules. Things will make sense to people that live in those areas. Or I'll mention something that has to do, a location that I used to frequent, or in fact, a lot of that came out in Stalemate was when I wrote Pond of King 4 recently, which is in the Imaginarium anthology from last year. I went in and based it on places that I've actually been to. So I had that information, but then I kind of like woven in other little things that might not be true. In that case, paranormal stuff. But by that time you're already like, oh, well, this is fact. This could be plausible kind of thing. So I do that a lot with the Faerie Lore, that I've been doing recently. So I'm trying to think if there's any formula. Not really.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, other than situational stuff, I'll typically will go true to their perceived character, as in, what the original folklore would say about that species.
Yeah.
That checks.
For someone new to Faerie Lore, where would you suggest they begin? Any must-read stories, anthologies, or storytellers you'd recommend to get them started?
Any kind of folklore, what I do is I try to go back to the source, to whatever country that lore came from, and I'll do a deep dive into, why I think that lore came about, because folklore is generally, like, mythos and folklore are used to explain things that can't be explained. So, creatures are made up, pantheons are made up, to explain it on a more human terms so that people can understand. Whether it's cautionary tale, which is huge in German culture. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but the one with the cautionary tale of the boy misbehaves, so the guy with the scissors kind of makes me think Edward Scissorhands came from that, but it was, little boy got his thumbs cut off.
I mean,
why would you put that in a children's book?
Yeah,
to warn them not to do the thing. It's like, do you want to lose your
but
thumbs?
like graphically like that? That's trauma.
I mean, it is, but I mean, at the same time, like if you're at the point where you need a cautionary tale, that means mom and dad have already tried to tell you once or twice, and your ass ain't listening.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. You want to know what happened to the last kid that tried that? Let me tell you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me tell you a story.
And it's like,
grandmas are, nonas are well versed in Struwwelpeter.
Struve. Is it in German?
Yeah. So those
Struwwelpeter. Yeah. Struwwelpeter.
Husband. Struwwelpeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, look that one up. Trust me. What was the question? We got off on a tangent.
If you could introduce someone to Faerie Lore.
Right. So going back to the source, looking at, if you have a particular location, if you have a fondness for a particular country, start where your interests lie. Celtic folklore is covered in Faerie Lore. The Slavic has their own version.
Even
Russian has their
Icelandic
own version.
Yeah.
German has their own. Scandinavian has their own. There's so many different takes on it, but yet there's a common thread that you can find. Kind of like somebody having like Greek and Norse god and goddess pantheon, different names for the same one. And so they're thinking a lot along the same lines, but they're tweaked for their environment, they're tweaked for their country. And Moon will be right back. This one's for Moon, the Mystic Knights of Tirnanog. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I used to live in a basement apartment, and like a ground floor, you had to go down into the basement in order to get to my apartment. So Tirnanog is an underground kingdom, right? There's a castle there, and I called my apartment Tirnanog.
My studio is the Forgetting Room, which is from Nick Bantock book. But yeah, I would totally name my house when we finally get one. Although that invokes other things.
So I have 5 rapid fire questions. Very like thought at the top of your head, instantaneous word association. Tell me what you think. Okay.
Hit me.
Favorite fairy tale creature, trickster or guardian?
Oh, that's a hard one.
You can do it.
Guardian, gnome.
Guardian. Okay.
Gnome.
No?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you could spend a day in the Fae realm, what's the first thing you would do?
Climb all the trees. Not eat anything.
That's dangerous. Yeah. Pauper Knight would hide. That's
like I
fair.
just did. I just ran away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not I went there willingly. I would say probably I do.
I feel like that's
hide the trees.
Sele Court or Unsele Court? Where would you fit in?
Where would I fit in?
That said everything. If your first response is
on the day,
then I think that it helps.
I too am Unsele.
But I have my days.
I don't remember what they mean, so I'll let you guys determine which one I would be in. I think I already know your answer.
All fair chaos. Sealy is good, Unsealy is bad, depending on your viewpoint.
Depending on your
As the harbinger of chaos, I feel like whichever one that means, I'll be that one. I bet that you are surrounded by Fae all the time, and you just don't see them.
I believe that. I can believe that with Moon. Check under the desk for brownies.
There's a can of WD-40. Does that count? No? Okay.
No. Okay, so one fairy-inspired book or story you'd recommend instantly?
Brandon Mull's.
Brandon Mull. Mm-hmm. Do you believe humans have ever truly glimpsed the Fae? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
There are more. Ratio.
So Heather Dewey Pettit just walked into the room, and she is working on a book about a guide to fairies for writers,
Oh, nice.
like a glossary. And that is, I think the deadline for all the goodies is Halloween. So yeah, we're looking forward to that one. I'm working on the cover, so as soon as you get back to me on the cover, we can move forward.
And any resources, let me know.
And Jace, I mean, I do hang around Moon. I'm a big old fairy.
Hey, Jace.
Hey, Jace.
I don't think I was here for his Mystic Knights of Tiernanog comment, but got you.
Yeah.
Right here.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Renmeleon, and I personally look forward to your future publications, like your debut book, Stalemate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we have a release date on that?
I got some feedback from an agent that approached me the last day of Imaginarium and actually asked me to send my stuff to them. I hadn't even pitched anything. So I got some good feedback from that, and I am working on revisions, and I am like tripling the word count because my original script was only like 33K and it needs to be about 90K. So I'm incorporating Pond King 4 and some other stuff, and I have a really good outline going, which I didn't have an outline because it was script previously, just really loose. So I would like to say this year, but
would it be safer to say just a 26 release? That give you the space
probably
and the time.
with all the other stuff that I want to do for it, like Gustav's journal and
that can always come after you finish the draft.
Yeah, it's kind of part of what I'm doing with the collection in Stalemate, though. So fleshing out that a little more will help me hit that 90K mark. So probably safe to say 2026. I'd like to have it done this year so I could put it in the Imaginarium Awards.
They have the same awards next year,
but I'm not gonna push it just to.
I wouldn't.
Kind of thing.
No,
don't compromise your art for a deadline.
And quick mention, because that's the one show and tell we didn't talk about.
The Midnight Giant, Hilda. I love Hilda. The Hilda series is a great introduction.
Netflix, yeah, which is a Netflix, but this is so fun, and I have all the books for this. So
the show is brilliant.
It's beautiful.
The Netflix show, so brilliant. Okay, so for our wonderful listeners, Saley Court or Unsaley Court, which side do you choose?
If you relate to me a lot, it's pretty obvious. I think
comment on your allegiance.
I am my allegiance.
Okay, folks, this is us wrapping up. Is there anything else that you would like to say or promote or anything like that, Ren?
I have shows coming up, but my show schedule is on renmeleon.com. You can also find me on Linktree/Renmeleon. It's linktr.ee/Renmeleon. That has the links to all the things, the publishing company, Two Crows Market, which is the art shows in Berea, and we have a bunch of stuff coming up and some announcements coming up that even you haven't heard of. So,
oh man! Now you know that when we are when we are left in the dark, you know that's some top secret. So whenever top secret becomes not so top secret, you might want to slide us a message, bring it back on the show. We'll debut some information. I love being like the exclusive person for things. So bring it back to the show.
And Coffee with Panda is relaunching, which is Val and I, my husband, Popper Knight, and I, our Nerdcast Thursday morning at 11 a.m. and it's the last Thursday of this month is our launch. So
that's the day before Halloween.
The whole
the day before Halloween. Ooh, boy,
all that.
So yeah, whenever you need guests, you know there's Sako on the Moon hanging out. Clearly, 11 o'clock in the morning is not such a problem for us. I'm just drafting Sako to do things. It's fine.
Okay. If you liked this video at any point, I encourage you to check out our video on cryptids in Appalachia. I'll put it in the cards or in the ending.
You'll see it. It'll be somewhere.
Yeah, you'll see it. It'll be.
I was in that one.
Since you're subscribed to the channel, all you have to do is just go through the videos. You'll find it. It's right there.
You'll find it. You'll find it.
Through all the videos and find some other interesting ones that you found.
Under the live tab.
Live. You know what? Find all of them. Just watch everything. It's
just fine. Watch everything. It'll be fine. We generally, so check that out. And next week we'll talk about mental health in horror. So we generally aim at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fridays for the main show and 11 a.m. Eastern Tuesday for the movie reviews. Speaking of movie reviews, we are reviewing Hellboy 2 Golden Army. And I think I have it on DVD.
And also, in case this spikes anyone's interest, I've never seen it. So what you're going to get from me is my first time viewing of this movie. So this is going to be my first impression of Hellboy and Hellboy 2 and how this all relates. I'll figure it out.
There are things about, there are certain scenes that reference ancient lore. Yeah, no spoilers. It's super fun, and I think the casting is excellent. So, I think you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, they tell me I'm going to like this movie, so we're going to see if I really do like this movie on Tuesday when we review it.
Indeed. This has been Sako and the Moon. Until next time, keep your light close and your monsters closer.
This is where we bob our heads back and forth. We do this.
Yeah, this is when we do that.
We do this.
Yeah. All right.
And we're just still here. Just go on.
Yeah, I was